In this video, we're going to talk about building the unit circle in degrees as well as radians. So, the unit circle is a circle on the coordinate plane that has a radius of 1, and it's centered at the origin. And what we have within the unit circle is we have embedded within it a bunch of 45, 45, 90 right triangles. So here's one of them. And if I go through and I connect these middle dots, I'm going to drop a perpendicular line down to the x-axis. What I have are a bunch of 45, 45, 90 right triangles. And I can, let me see, just want these to stand out here. Okay. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 45, 45, 90 right triangles where this angle here is 45 degrees. This angle here is 45 degrees. We call this the reference angle. The reference angle is the angle between the line and the x-axis. So I have all of these that have a 45 degree reference angle, but the question is, as I travel around, what are my angles? Well, I know that this is 90 degrees, 180 degrees, 270 degrees, 360 degrees. The 45 degrees cuts my 90 in half, so this is going to be 45 degrees. Here I'm 45 degrees short of the 180. That's going to put me at 135 degrees. I'm 45 degrees past 180. That puts me at 225 degrees. I'm 45 degrees short of 360. That's going to be 315 degrees. Now we can work through this in degrees, or we can also work through this in radians. We talked about radians. We said that radians deals with this idea of circumference, where circumference of a circle is 2 pi r, and since this has a radius of 1, the circumference of the unit circle is just 2 pi. In other words, if I started at 0 and traveled all the way around, I would end at 2 pi. Well, instead of going all the way around, what if I just went halfway? Well, then I ended at pi. Well, what if I went half of that? That's pi over 2. And from here we can count. This is, let me see if I can get a, here we go. Oh, that's not what I want. Sorry. So, my thing's doing something goofy here. Oh, that's what that is. Okay. All right. So, now we're going to count. I have on this first arc in quadrant 1, that's 1 pi over 2, 2 pi over 2, this is 3 pi over 2, and 4 pi over 2, which simplifies to 2 pi. So then what about those 45, 45, 90s that are embedded within this unit circle? Here's one of them. Here's another one. And I'm just dropping perpendiculars to the x-axis just like before. Okay. Now I'm going to color them in blue just like before. So here's one of my 45, 45, 90s. Here's another 45, 45, 90, another 45, 45, 90, and another 45, 45, 90. We have 4. Just like before, where this 45 was half of my 90 degrees, this angle right here is going to be half of pi over 2. Well, half of pi over 2 is going to be pi over 4. And we're going to count this out. This increment is 1 pi over 4, 2 pi over 4, this is 3 pi over 4, 4 pi over 4, 5 pi over 4, 6 pi over 4, 7 pi over 4, 8 pi over 4, which reduces to 2 pi. The next thing we need to look at are our 30, 60, 90s. And for our 30, 60, 90s, I'm going to let me erase that. Let me clean this up a little bit. Oops. Our 30, 60, 90 special right triangles, I will write in black, and here we go. If I drop a perpendicular, this has a reference angle of 30 degrees. If I come up here, this has a reference angle of 60 degrees. And I can embed these 30, 60, 90s with the 30 degree reference angles all the way through, which I'm going to color pink. And I can embed the 30, 60, 90s that have the 60 degree reference angle within the unit circle as well. And those I'm going to color in yellow. Okay. So when I look at this, focusing on just these black lines here, and I'm going to erase what we have in the 45s for now. Looking at this, what I'm really doing is I'm taking my 90 degrees and I'm breaking them into thirds. So here's a 30 degree increment, here's another 30 degree increment, here's another 30 degree increment that gets me to 90. If I'm doing this in degrees, this is 30 degrees, 60 degrees, 90 degrees, 30 degrees more, that puts me at 120 degrees, 30 degrees more puts me at 150, 180, 210, 240, 270, 300, and 330. Looking over in radians, same idea. I have these 30 degree reference angle triangles that I'm going to color in pink. Although now, because we are working in radians, I'm not going to say 30 degrees, I'm going to say pi over 6. Oops. Let me get rid of those pi over 4s. Okay. So now I've taken pi over 2, and I have these reference angles, and they're breaking up each 90 degree interval into 3 equal parts. So this is really a third of pi over 2. Well, 1/3 of pi over 2 is pi over 6. And I can count this off in pi over 6 intervals. Okay. So we're going to count this off pi over 6. This is 1 pi over 6. This is 2 pi over 6. 3 pi over 6. 4 pi over 6. 5 pi over 6. 6 pi over 6, which is the same as pi. It's a good checkpoint. 7 pi over 6. 8 pi over 6. 9 pi over 6, which is the same as 3 pi over 2. 10 pi over 6. 11 pi over 6, 12 pi over 6, which is the same as 2 pi. And so when I'm doing the unit circle, pi over 4s have a 45 degree reference angle, pi over 6s have a 30 degree reference angle, and I can actually reduce, like this 2 pi over 6, that's actually the same as pi over 3, if I reduce that fraction. Oops. There we go. So I'm going to write this as pi over 3. 4 pi over 6, that reduces to 2 pi over 3. 8 pi over 6 reduces to 4 pi over 3. And 10 pi over 6 reduces to 5 pi over 3. Okay. So then I put my pi over 4's in. 1 pi over 4, 2. This is 3 pi over 4, 4. This is 5 pi over 4. 6. This is 7 pi over 4. And this creates our unit circle in radians. Put this back in. Looking a little cluttered here, but it does. And now what I would like you to do is I would like you to be able to do this in under 2 minutes. 45 degrees. So I'm just going to complete this here. 45, 135. Okay. And this is our unit circle in degrees as well as radians. Now I'm going to go through this one more time just really quickly where actually, yeah, I'll go through this one more time really quickly in radians so you can see what the process would look like quicker, more efficient without all the dialogue. Okay, I'm going to start with my quadrantal angles. My quadrantal angles are, I'm going to do degrees, 0, 90, 180, 270, 360. I'm going to go through do my 45s, 45, 135, 225, 315, and then this is 30, 60, 120, 150, 210, 240, 300, 330. In radians, again, I'm going to start off with my quadrantals. Whoops, the wrong color. It's going to take practice. Whoops. All right. Pi over 2, pi, I count it, that's 1 pi over 2, 2 pi over 2, 3 pi over 2, 2 pi. I do my pi over 4s. This is 1 pi over 4, 2 pi over 4, 3 pi over 4, 4 pi over 4, 5 pi over 4, 6 pi over 4, 7 pi over 4. Then I count out my pi over 6s. This is going to be 1 pi over 6, 2 pi over 6 is pi over 3. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 pi over 6 is 2 pi over 3. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 pi over 6 reduces to 4 pi over 3. It's 8, 9, 10 pi over 6 is 5 pi over 3. That's 10, 11 pi over 6. So now I have my unit circle mapped out in degrees as well as radians with this idea of these embedded 30, 60, 90 right triangles. We're going to do more with this, but this is a really great place to start. I want you to practice this. I'd like you to time yourself. You should be able to bust each one of these out in under 2 minutes. Thank you so much. I'll see you tomorrow.